John Pershing was born in Laclede, Missouri in 1860. He lived a happy life there and loved it. John Pershing had 5 siblings: James, Ward, Mary Elizabeth, Anne May, and Grace. His parents' names were John Fletcher Pershing and Anne Elizabeth Thomas. He went to University of Nebraska School. As he got older, he got a teaching degree and took a job at Prairie Mound School as a teacher. Then after teaching, General Douglas MacArthur made General Pershing one of America's military leaders, and he served in World War I. The Pershing family was very proud of him when he came back alive after the war. They were really excited to see him. He won the Pulitzer Prize for History in 1932. He was also one of the first 5-star generals. Some of his friends were Harry S. Truman, General S. Patton, and later U.S. Secretary of State George C. Marshall and General Douglas MacArthur. People gave him a nickname of Black Jack. He married Helen Frances Warren and had 3 daughters and 1 son. He loved his kids and never wanted to leave them in Helen. While Pershing was in Texas, he received news that his wife and daughters had been killed in a fire. Only his 6-year-old son Warren had survived. He sent a letter to General E. H. Crowder in search for Pancho Villa, June 15, 1916, one of Mexico's biggest villains. At the age of 84, he was in the hospital of Washington, D.C., died there in his sleep. A lot of people came to his funeral and missed him dearly. He died July 15, 1948.
Charles. This is Samuel Clemens, also known as Mark Twain. Samuel's category is writing, and he was the 6th of 7 children. This is Samuel Clemens' birthplace, the house in Florida, MO, and he was born in November 30th, 1835. Samuel's father died of pneumonia when he was 12. His father lived 1755 to 1835. This is Samuel's mother, who was born in June 18, 1803 and died October 27, 1890. Mark Twain got his name by writing a steamboat and to get money, but he didn't get any, so he published books and got $25 a week, then called himself Mark Twain, which means 2 fathoms deep. This is Samuel Clemens' family: Susie Clemens, Jane Clemens, Claire Clemens, and Langdon Clemens. This is Mark Twain nominee called the Clockwork 3. This is one of his awards. This is Samuel's grave, and he died April 20th, 1910.
Charles Lindbergh was born on February 4, 1902 in Detroit and grew up on a little farm near Little Falls, Minnesota. Charles Lindbergh went to the University of Wisconsin-Madison as an engineering student. It was World War II when he joined the Army as a cadet and learned how to fly different types of planes. On May 27, 1929, Charles Lindbergh married Annie Morrow in a private ceremony at her family home. Charles Lindbergh flew from Missouri to Paris in the spirit of St. Louis. After the flight, he was sworn into the Hall of Fame and won the Orteig Prize. After the flight, Charles Lindbergh Jr. was kidnapped when he was 20 months old. Charles Lindbergh died in Maui, Hawaii by cancer at the age of 72 in 19.
This is Wild Bill Hickok, and he was famous because his gambling and great shooting skills.
This is Wild Bill Hickok's father, Abner Hickok. He is married to a woman named Eunice. This is Wild Bill Hickok's mother, Eunice Hickok, who is married to Wild Bill's father, Abner Hickok.
This house is where the famous Missourian Wild Bill Hickok used to live during his childhood in Homer, Illinois, August 2, 1837. Wild Bill Hickok was so famous from his gambling and great shooting skills that a while after he died, some people made movies and comic books about him.
Wild Bill Hickok also had a legend of him in a dead man's hand.
Wild Bill Hickok's wife was actually a famous Missourian named Calamity Jane, also known as Martha Jane Canary. Wild Bill Hickok had a child who was a girl named Jean Hickok.
The murder of Wild Bill Hickok was Jack McCall by shooting Wild Bill in the back because Wild Bill killed Jack's brother.
Wild Bill was killed in August 2nd, 1876, also killed in Deadwood, Dakota Territory. Omar Bradley lived in Randolph, Clark, Missouri, the same place Omar Bradley was born in. Omar Bradley lived with Sarah Hubbard, John Bradley, Raymond Bradley, Nettie Boogie, and his other sister is unknown. They are still looking for his sister that is unknown today. Omar Bradley was born in 1893 in Randolph, Clark, Missouri. Some of his awards were Bronze Star Medal, Silver Star, Presidential Freedom, Legion of Merit, Distinguished Service Medal, and a Mexican Border Service Medal. Omar Nelson Bradley. Omar Bradley became a 5-star general after World War II. Omar Bradley is famous for his magazines, coins, and his accessories. He is also famous for being a 5-star general. Omar Bradley died after World War II. He died in 1981 and lived to be 88 years old. This is a picture of when Omar Bradley died. The people are at a powwow. The people around were the people who helped in the war.
This is Walter Disney as a baby, by the way. He was one of 5 children. He was born 1901 on December 5th in Chicago, Illinois. In middle school, he carved his name in his desk. Only people knew in his class and some outsiders. The stars represent where Walter Disney lived as a kid. Walter tried a job in Kansas City, but the career did not work out for him, so he went to Hollywood for a chance at fame, and that's what he got. Walter Disney is with his best friend ever, Mickey, but Walter goes by Walt Disney. But the weird thing is he didn't come up with the idea of Mickey Mouse. His partner did. This is Lillian Disney, Walter's wife, and she died soon after he did. This is Walter with his 2 daughters, Sharon and Dani. They were adopted. Walter got a star on the Walk of Fame for his movies and making Walt Disney World Resort. Walter was so good, he got put on Time magazine, which people rarely get to do. On December 15th, he was buried in Los Angeles, California, 10 days after his birthday, but died of lung cancer. This is all of the websites that I got the information for my photo story.
James Cash Penney. James Cash Penney's birthplace was on a farm in Hamilton, Missouri on September 16, 1875. James is the 7th of 12 children. James Cash Penney's father was a poor Baptist minister, and James's childhood was farm work and attending school. Although Penney was not a college graduate, he received awards that were honorary degrees from a variety of colleges and universities. In 1983, James graduated from Hamilton High School to begin his training to be a businessman on February 4, 1895. His first business failed, but James kept on trying. Before J.C. Penney, James worked at both Hale Store and the farm. Then, instead of buying one store at a time, Penney began buying whole chains of stores. James Cash Penney married Caroline Bertha Ott to Ruth. They had 2 boys named Russell and James, and also had 1 daughter named Mary. In 1910, tragedy hit. Penney's wife died of pneumonia. James died on February 12, 1971, in New York City, but J.C. Penney is still one of America's largest retailers. These are my sites that I used to get my information.
Thomas Hart Benton is a painter. He was born April 15, 1889, Neosho, Missouri. This is Thomas Hart Benton's signature. He wrote his name in cursive. He was the oldest child of Machinist Benton and Elizabeth Benton. These are his parents. His mom was taller than his dad. Thomas Benton was the grandson of Missouri's first senator. This is his house. They now have a tour there. It is big like a castle. This is his studio. He did all his painting here. He had lots of tools and paints. He studied at the Art Institute of Chicago. This is one of the paintings in the Capitol. He painted pictures of back in the old times. Thomas Benton painted war scenes too. The painting is a picture of men on a boat in war. When he was little, he loved to draw. His mom encouraged him, but his dad did not. A few years later, he was in a Time magazine. When he was little, he loved to draw. His mom encouraged him, but his dad did not. A few years later, he was in a Time magazine. He was 5 feet tall. He focused on painting rural, everyday subject matter. He didn't paint as much as he did when he was young, but he still painted. Soon he was too old and died. Thomas Hart Benton died January 19, 1975, Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts.
Daniel Boone was born in this house near Reading, Pennsylvania on November 2nd, 1734. His parents are Squirt and Sarah Boone. His parents spent his birthday on October 22nd, and of his 10 siblings, he was the only one without a middle name. Boone wed Rebecca Bryan and had 10 kids of his own, but the 9th one died soon after birth. Boone got to be famous by finding the best places to put cities, farms, and villages, and he built a road through the southern Appalachian Mountains, which opened up part of the United States to pioneers. Boone often left for hunting trips that lasted for 3 to 5 months long. In 1775, Boone directed colonists to an area which he named Boone's Broad, which was on land he took from the Shoshone and Cherokee Indians. The Shoshone and Cherokee tribes were mad at Boone, so in 1776 his daughter Jeremiah was kidnapped by the tribes. Luckily, he was able to release her. In 1778, Boone was captured himself by the Shoshone. He managed to escape, but he was soon robbed. In 1788, Boone moved to Missouri and lived there the rest of his life. He died of natural causes at age 85 on September 26, 1820, at Femi Osage Creek, Missouri.
Jesse James the Outlaw, known as Americans' Robin Hood or the Cold-Blooded Killer. Jesse James was born in Kearney, Missouri on September 5, 1847. Jesse James' mom, Zelda, had 3 husbands throughout her life and had 9 kids to take care of.
This is Jesse James' farm that he grew up in. After Jesse James was legendary of the Old West, Union soldiers burned down his farm. This is Jesse James' house that he bought after his farm got burnt down by Union soldiers. Jesse James' accomplishment was to try robbing a bank in the daytime. He did. He got out of Liberty Bank with $60,000. Jesse James had everybody looking for him, so he moved to Joseph, Missouri to hide from the law. Jesse had no awards or punishments because he got away with robbery. Jesse had one wife named Z, a daughter, and two twins that soon died after birth. Jesse James is an outlaw because he robs banks and trains. He also was the leader of the murdering. Jesse James died because he was legendary of the Old West, so Robert Ford shot Jesse James in the head on April 3, 1882. These are the sites that I used to get information for Jesse James the Outlaw.
Jane Wyman was born on January 5, 1917 in St. Joseph, Missouri. Jane Wyman was adopted when she was 4 years old. Jane Wyman married Ronald Reagan on January 26, 1940, who was president in 1980. Jane's daughter Marie died in August 2001. Jane Wyman won an Academy Award for Best Actress for Johnny Belinda. Jane Wyman was an actor. She also married a lot of people. Jane Wyman was in all these movies: Blue Veil, Magnificent Obsession, and All That Heaven Allows. Jane Wyman signed with the Warner Brothers in 1936. Jane Wyman got her hand and feet print at the famous Garment's Chinese Theater. The beautiful Jane Wyman passed away on September 10, 2007.
Josephine Baker was born on June 3, 1906. Her real name was Freda McDonald. She also had two siblings, Margaret and William May. 1906, St. Louis, Missouri is where Josephine Baker was born. Josephine Baker dropped out of school at the age of 12 to begin her dance career. Her parents are Carrie McDonald and Eddie Carson. Her mom, Carrie McDonald, was a washerwoman. Her dad, Eddie Carson, never married her mom. Throughout her life, she married four men: Willie Wells, Willie Baker, Jean Lyon, and orchestra leader Joe Balloon. Josephine's first marriage was at the age of 13. That never lasted long. Josephine Baker's last husband was orchestra leader Joe Balloon. Unfortunately, they divorced. She also adopted 12 children from all over the world. She called them the Rainbow Tribe because they were different colored skin. Most of them were boys. Josephine Baker became a famous Missourian for being a popular and a well-talented dancer. Josephine Baker was known by many names like Bronze Venus, the Black Pearl, and Creek Coal Goddess. Josephine Baker fought against ransom in World War II. Baker was given a 21-gun salute at her funeral. Josephine Baker died in 1975, having a stroke in her sleep, after a large party in her honor. She died in Paris, France, and was buried in Monaco. She became the first American woman to receive French military honors at her funeral. These are the sites where I got my information from.
Carl Edwards was born in Columbia, Missouri on August 15, 1979. He is now 33 years old. This is Carl Edwards as a kid. He loved to build stuff and show his parents. He built airplanes, cars, and all kinds of stuff. His mom is the only one who came to his races to support him and cheer for him. After his races, he would go to his dad's to play and watch TV. His dad always supports him. Kenny was Carl's brother. He only had Kenny to be there. He was a great brother. Carl Edwards went to the University of Missouri His college mascot was the Tiger. Kyle Lewis didn't just have a good college, he also had a family, one kid and a wife. Usually he wins, but not all the time. But when he does his big trick, the backflip. He doesn't just do a backflip, he also gets a shiny trophy. So he got his whole life. What you want to hear about is his accomplishment. He got the coolest trophy.
Harry S. Truman was the 33rd President of the United States. Harry was Vice President for Franklin D. Roosevelt until Franklin died and he became the new president. He was born May 8, 1884. Harry played the piano and had a diary when he was a kid. Harry S. Truman grew up on a farm in Jackson County, Missouri, and got the middle name S. His parents were John and Martha Truman. Harry met the love of his life and married Martha Ellen in 1919. They had a daughter together named Mary Margaret. Harry was born in this house, and years later his wife and daughter moved in with him. Harry S. Truman went against Dewey in the election. The newspaper said Truman lost the election, but he actually won. He also got famous for dropping the atomic bomb, ending World War II. Harry's parents couldn't afford college, so he didn't get his college degree. He served the military for 37 years and volunteered to be in World War I. Harry had famous quotes like, "Intense feeling too often obscures the truth." Harry S. Truman died because of pneumonia at age 88 in 1972, and he was buried in Independence, Missouri.
Afton, Missouri, the place where John Goodman lives. He did lots of things there. Afton High School is where John Goodman went to school, and he got injured while playing football and lost his dream.
Here's John Goodman and his family. The guy with the yellow shirt is John. His father died when he was 2 years old, and his mother had to take care of all the children. This is his wife, Annabeth Hartsock. She went to the awards with him. She was a very nice woman. He also has a daughter named Molly Evangeline Goodman. She was born August 31st, 1990. John Goodman also plays Sully in Monsters, Inc. The guy with the purple spots is Sully. He got to hold up the new Sully toy for Monsters University. He was an actor for a movie as a football player, and he got a t-shirt number 73.
On John Goodman's birthday, he got to go to Speed Racers.
He got an award in 2011 for being a good actor.
John Goodman was a great man, but he's still alive today.
Martha Jane Canary, known as Calamity Jane. Martha was born May 1st, 1852 in Princeton, Missouri. Martha was an outlaw, but always very kind. She helped the wounded and the sick, and after her parents' death, she helped all her siblings get through troubled times going through Missouri. Martha would fight Indians who would attack covered wagons. She did not get an award, but her kindness was her award. Martha learned to ride horses pro at age 13, even was a frontierswoman. Martha was not very fond of dresses or decorative hats. She would always dress like a man and do everything like a man, as in hunting and looking for gold. But she would still be kind and still help. Martha married Wild Bill Hickok, but he was shot in the back by Jack McCall after Bill won at a poker match. After Bill's death, Martha remarried to Clinton Burke. Martha had a daughter named Jean, but Martha's daughter was put up for adoption after Bill died. Martha died August 1st, 1903, in Terry, South Dakota. Her cause of death was pneumonia.
George Washington Carver, otherwise known as GWC, the famous biologist, otherwise a plant scientist, and he invented a really useful butter type that is probably very popular. George Washington Carver was born in this cabin in 1864. This time was an estimate because no one really knew his exact birth date. George Washington Carver's parents, as shown above, who had 2 girls who died and 2 boys. A picture of George Washington Carver as a child who was kidnapped by night raiders. He was returned, but his mother was sadly not. A landscaping of Diamond Grove, Missouri, which was the birthplace of George Washington Carver. George Washington Carver was kicked out of his first college due to a racial discrimination, however went to an agricultural college and graduated. Sadly, in his entire life, he did not have kids or a wife. As he worked in his lab, he found a butter type that is made from a plant, and I will give you time to guess what type of plant he made the butter out of. This is why he is famous. If you guessed peanut butter, you are correct. George Washington Carver made 300 uses for the peanut and a few other plants. That is quite a lot of uses. His award is shown above, holding the award himself and in color, which you don't see every day when you're looking at photos that are mainly from the past. He was famous in 1874. He died of the age of 82. He died of falling down a flight of stairs, gained a disease from his fall, and sadly died from that. He died in 1864. GWC's grave is currently shown above. You can even see the name on the grave if you're fast enough to see it. If you haven't heard, he died in 1864. Just a reminder for if you didn't hear it. The sites that I used to gain my information to make this video, this took a long time in order to make. Please rate, comment, and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.